Hey. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Olympics. I should say good afternoon. It's the women's giant slalom, and it is run number 2. We are here for the finale of the women's giant slalom, and let's get right to the results from the first run. Federica Brignone, after her gold the other day in Super G, comes right back and is leading the giant slalom by 34 100ths of a second over Lena Dürer of Germany. Then Sofia Goggia in third, 46 hundredths back. And then we have a three-way tie. Lara Culturi, I believe she's Italian, but starting for Albania, Sarah Hector and Louise Stienesund, all tied at fourth place, 74 100ths of a second back. And behind them, then another quarter of a second back, Michaela Schifrin, 102 back. And then there's a really tight group again with Valerie Grenier just 100th of a second behind Schifrin in eighth. Mina Fürst-Holtmann, 105, so 200ths back of Grenier in ninth. Alice Robinson of New Zealand, another 400ths back in 10th. And then Julia Scheib, who has been dominating the women's giant slalom from Austria, had a terrible first run, 1.13 back in 11th. She's going to need some magic to make up. She's 90 points up in the World Cup giant slalom, I think, with 4 victories this year already, and just did not have a great run. She was, let's see, where did she lose her time? She lost it at the end. She only had the 32nd fastest time in sector 4. So Julia Scheib, a lot of work to do. She was only 41 hundredths back at that point. She could have been third if she just kept it together in sector 4. So we're going to see how this all shakes out now. Race starts in 14 minutes. Let's go through the screen a little bit. What we've got for you today: 76 total competitors in the race, and that has been reduced now to the current standings, which will be the first 30 in reverse order, just like yesterday with the men. So we're going to be starting with Camille Cerruti of France, who finished in 30th, 2.75 seconds back. Actually, when you think about it, over 21 people within 1.74. So there's a tight groups in there. So a lot of opportunity for people to move up from their current positions. So backwards from Cerruti, who was 30th, would be first to go Nina O'Brien of the US, and so on. How did the Americans do here? Nina O'Brien in 29th, Paula Moltzon down in 14th, Michaela Schifrin in 7th. So we're going to see how this all shakes out today. Federica Brignone, after that bad accident last year where she got hurt really badly, fought her way back, got back to the World Cup circuit just before the Olympics started, and now could end up with her second gold after the gold in the Super G just the other day. How many people are actually in the final? So after 76 people started, only 61 in the second run. In run 1, let's see, DNFs. How many DNFs did we have? Yep, 15 DNFs, including some bigger names like AJ Hurt of the US. So that was unfortunate. Wendy Holdner of Switzerland didn't start, so she actually did not go down the hill. Some injury going on there. Sarah Schlepper, the 46-year-old American who races for Mexico, disqualified. Not sure why. This is her 7th Olympics. We saw her the other day in the Super G. A great story of how you stay fit in your, as you get over 40, still able to maybe not compete, but definitely able to come to the Olympics and represent Mexico, put on a good show for the people, and show people that at 46 you can still be doing some very serious athletics. All right, what do we have for medals? The U.S. Has had 8 medals over the course of history in the giant slalom for women. Michaela Schifrin did win this race in 2018 in Pyeongchang. I'm going to bring that up real quick here, get a little bit of that history. You can see it scrolling there. Just give me 1 second. Women's giant. Women's giant slalom Olympic. I just had this window open. Where'd it go now? And I'll get that wiki going because there's some really good here. Okay, women giant slalom. Yeah, the only person to ever repeat in the women's giant slalom was Deborah Compagnoni of Italy, who did it in '94 in Lillehammer and '98 in Nagano in Japan. As we said, Sarah Hector won in 2022 in Beijing. Brignone was second, Laura Gut-Behrami of Switzerland third, and in 2018, Michaela Schifrin won here, ahead of Norway's Ragnhild Mowinckel and Federica Brignone getting the bronze. So this would be a nice progression for Brignone, bronze and then silver and now gold. So we're definitely hoping that she's able to pull that off. Again, great comeback story for her. Speaking of injuries and comebacks, Lindsey Vonn's comeback this year, you know, lots of fanfare, some great results, two wins on the World Cup circuit this year with that reconstructed right knee after being in retirement for what, 4 or 5 years, came back, wanted to try the Olympics just one more time. And unfortunately, we all know how that ended with that terrible crash a week ago Sunday. She had her 4th operation on that fractured tibia, left tibia, and she hopes to go back to the U.S. Now, probably in the next few days, by some kind of medical transport to get her back there and keep everything stabilized, where she says she will have additional operations, at least one fairly soon and others down the road. It's going to be a long road back for her just to get to be walking, because after the leg, the fracture gets fixed, she's going to have her knee fixed as well, because the ACL was ruptured the week before in Crans-Montana, and that of course was the big story on what was going to happen with her at the Olympics. Was that knee going to hold? She says it had nothing to do with the crash. I don't know. You know, I looked at it, I did an analysis of the crash and saw, you know, that slope was so far going down to her left on a right turn, and all that pressure on that left leg. And then of course, when you fall, when you crash, and you don't have total control over your legs because of the injury, maybe that also contributed to the fact that the break in her leg was so bad. So terrible thing. Again, at this point, let's just hope she gets to walk normally again. Got to get that bone fixed without any side effects of things like compartment syndrome and all kinds of other things that could go wrong with that, before she gets back to fixing the knee, the ACL, the meniscus, all the problems that happened in the crash in Crans-Montana the week before. So a real tough thing for Lindsey Vonn, and we will hope that she recovers well. And as she ages, she's already 41, but as she ages, maybe into more golden years like us here, at 60, that she'll be able to walk properly and not be too arthritic and all that. It comes with the territory with great athletes and great effort and the risk of crashes like this, and she's had enough of those in her life, no doubt. All right, so up here in the top right of our broadcast today, our live stream, you see the last 7 or 8 Olympic gold, silver, bronze. You see the medal count by country there. You see the top 13 in this morning's first run, and you see the current World Cup standings for giant slalom. So that's what's up in the top. Down at the bottom, you can see that we've got 76 competitors from 44 countries. 61 will go through in the second run this afternoon. I'm watching on the Spanish television, rtve.es. I will put that in the chat today, so you can see if you don't have access to the actual, let's see here, RTV, actual television broadcast. One of the things that always bothered me in the U.S. when I was still living in the U.S. was turn on NBC, want to watch the giant slalom or the downhill or the Super G, and first of all, the race ended 8 or 9 hours ago. So the chance of actually not knowing what happened is pretty slow. You got to like shield yourself off from media until the evening, and then watch. And they'll show a person, and they'll do some kind of a profile on somebody. Then they'll go to commercial. Then they'll come back and they'll show a person race down the hill, and it takes you half an hour to see 4 or 5 people go down the hill. You end up seeing 2 or 3 Americans and the top 3 medal winners. And that's pretty much it. I don't like that. I like seeing every single racer go down. So that's what we're going to do today. It should be live now. Let's go over and hit play on that. And get, oh, that's nice, saying cannot find the page. Now, I don't even believe that for a second. But we're getting really close. We're down to 4 minutes until the start. We get to the Olympic page. Women's giant slalom, Sunday the 15th of February here. All right, it's trying to tell me that that page is not available. So, supposed to have started now. If not, we're going to switch over, use the VPN on here. I use NordVPN. If you don't have it, it's great to have, to be able to watch really good coverage from other countries, like from Austria or from Spain normally. And I use NordVPN to go into the Austrian orf.at. That's the other one, sport.orf.at, and they will show pretty much every racer. In a case like this, maybe 40 or 45 racers just straight through. We usually have TV breaks after racer 15, racer 22, racer 30, and then like yesterday we saw with the men that it was every 45 seconds after a certain amount of time. Every 45 seconds, I think the interview. Forerunners are on course, by the way, now. You can see that up here scrolling in the timing window. The timing window for us today is coming from FIS, the Fédération Internationale du Ski. And we are going to interact with that to watch people go through the sector times, run 1, run 2, and all of the differentials there as we come down from 30th place to first. Camille Cerruti will kick it off for us in just 3 minutes here, followed by Nina O'Brien of the US, Sue Pilar of Switzerland, then Hanna Aronson-Elfman, Madeline Sylvester Davik, Sweden and Norway, Anna Bucic-Jogan from Slovenia, Zrinko Ljutic from Croatia, Vanessa Kasper from Switzerland, then Asia Zenere from Italy, Britt Richardson from Canada, Stephanie Brunner from Austria, and so on. And then we start to see the big names here as we get close to the top. So really it's these last 7 or 8 with Michaela Schifrin, then Louise Stjernesund, Sarah Hector, Lara Couture, Stennesund, Hector and Couture, all on the exact same time, 7400s back of the lead. Then Sofia Godja in third, 4600s back. Lena Dürr from Germany, only 3400s back. And our leader, Federica Brignone of Italy, in 103.23 through the first run. And she will be the final decider as to who gets gold today. After her, the other 31 racers who finished from 31st to 61st will go down. Estelle Alfond. We've seen Luc Alfond's other kid, Niels Alfond? So this is another one of Luc Alfond's, the great downhill racer, of his children trying to see, see Noah Zolos. We've seen her brother Barnabas Zolos, Hungarian-born skiers racing for Israel, and so on. So, yeah, excited to see how this all works out. We're going to start in just about 1 minute here. Let's get back up to the top and see. Cerruti is in the start house and scheduled for next. It says next, and when it goes from next to started, then we are underway. And I have video now, and she has started. Camille Cerruti started. Our first racer is on course. And now it's always the question on the video feed. She is still in the start house. So we're going to get a sense of sector 1 time and what that means as far as the delay goes. So she's now pushing away, 17, 18, about 18, 19 seconds is the delay between the timing, which comes first, and the video feed. And it's a beautiful day in Cortina, by the way. Lots of sunshine. The snow looks great. They had a lot of snow last week leading up to the Olympics. The men had snow yesterday during the giant slalom over in Borneo, but beautiful weather today. And Camille Cerruti is on her way. Each sector today between about 17 and 18 seconds so far. You can see that down here, 1791, 1735, 1820. And her time in the first run was, what was it? About 1:15. So, a little bit of a mess up there. About 10 or 12 gates from the finish, and she is in fact out. So she started to lose it about 10 gates from the finish, and then over the last little rise there, she just was not able to make the turn, and she is down on her back. Looked painful. Her first run time was 1:05.98, but yeah, she just got lifted up and no longer able to turn the skis. Went sideways, left ski first into the next gate, that orange gate there, reddish gate, and then started to slide backwards down the hill a little bit. Camille Cerruti of France, a DNF just 3 or 4 gates from the finish line. She's up, she's okay, and down through the finish line. And the next racer is Nina O'Brien, and she is next. She's in the start house. Hasn't started yet according to the timing. We're going to see that any second here now. As soon as they free up the course again, usually they'll put a quick hold on when somebody goes down like that. Make sure everybody's okay and everybody's cleared of the course before they move on. All right. Just waiting for Nina O'Brien to change here from next to started, and there it is. She has started. Let's see what Nina, the top section, trying to read real quick what the team radio has some sun and shadow, and then it's all sunny as you go down. So we're going to see how well she was doing. She had 1700ths of an advantage on Cerruti and has expanded that quite a lot. 4,700. So Nina O'Brien, much faster. And I can see just how aggressive she's being up at the top here. 10, 15 seconds in. A lot of waves in the course, a lot of waves where they're getting lifted up, having to go over these waves and then turn for the next gate. We saw in the Super G the other day a really confusing, really awful course setting that led to nearly 40% of the racers DNFing, so that was pretty terrible. Pretty good time for O'Brien now. She's nearly 8 tenths ahead of Cerruti's time. Of course, Cerruti won't have that finish time, so we won't get to see that comparison. So as long as O'Brien gets through, and she does, 2:15.31, that's going to be the first time to beat. 2:15.31, that's 1:05.81 in the first run, and now 1:09.50 in the second run. So the second run is almost 4 seconds longer than the first run. Next on course already, Sue Pillar of of Switzerland, and she has started, and she had a gap of 25 100s after the first run to Nina O'Brien. So we'll see what that is worth now. She's lost 1900s already through the first intermediate time as she races down towards the second intermediate time. And we're going to see that any second now because they're only, like I said, 17, 18 seconds ahead. And she's lost a lot of time. She's lost another 9/10, and she's now 8/10 back. So we really saw that Nina O'Brien was super aggressive. And what I really like to watch on these is the PR column, the progression column here in that lower table. Right now it shows Nina O'Brien at 0, but given the times, Sue Pilar almost half a second back at the final intermediate time. We're going to probably get to see Nina O'Brien with the green 1, up 1. So there we go. Sue Pilar in 2:15.85 in second place, lost a spot. O'Brien has moved up a spot, and we'll keep an eye on that progression throughout this second run today. Thanks again for joining, everybody. We're getting towards the end of the Olympics. After today, we've really only got the slalom left. The men finished their giant slalom yesterday with a historic victory, the first winter gold medal, maybe the first medal ever in the Winter Games for Brazil, with Lucas Pinheiro Braaten. Of course, we know he has a Brazilian mom and a Norwegian dad, and he had a falling out with the Norwegian Ski Federation about 2 years ago. Something to do with money, always is. And I think he wanted more control of his life, and they wanted more control of the money. So he said, no, I'm done. I'm not going to race next year. He took a whole year off, made sure he had his Brazilian nationality, went to their federation and said, I want to race for you because my mom's Brazilian. And he did that, and he won gold yesterday in the giant slalom, set a tremendous time in the first run, almost a second ahead of Odermatt, and was able to hold on for victory in the second run. So big, big day for him and for Brazil. And now we have Hannah Aronson-Elfman through in second, lost her whole advantage to Nina O'Brien, and is in second, just 4 100s back. So Hannah Aronson-Elfman, who had been 27th after the first run, falls to second. Nina O'Brien now has already made up 2 spots, and from 29th to 27th at worst. But I have a feeling she's going to make up even more time or more places as we go through here. Next up is Madeline Sylvester Davik from Norway, and she is started. She is on course. The interval today is 1 minute and 30 seconds. You can see that now in that scrolling marquee on the top of the timing window there. So about 20, 25 seconds after a racer finishes the course, the next racer will start up top. So we had Madeline Sylvester Davik 3,200s ahead of Nina O'Brien after the first run. That's down to 22 100s, and now between Sector 1 and Sector 2, she's lost almost 9/10 to Nina O'Brien, and going backwards, made up a little time in Sector 3, 4/10 back now, but lost a little more time, and she's across in 2:15.92, which will put her in 4th. So she's dropped 3 whole spots. You can see it down there in the window. So we got the split times up top, and then we've got the cumulative times in those sectors down below, and you can see this progression. Nina O'Brien has now moved up 3 spots. Next up is Anna Bucic-Jogan from Slovenia, and she is started. She is on course and heading down. She had 46 100ths of an advantage over Nina O'Brien, so almost half a second. We'll see how that works out now. You can see it up top. We have a DNF. That happened like right away. She didn't even get to the first time check Anna Buchik-Yogan. We can see I got her now on screen coming out gate 1, 2, oh, right after the second or third gate. Maybe it was a few gates further down because I could see the red timing line. And the red timing line is about 17 seconds in, 18 seconds in. So she was probably about 13 or 14 seconds in, hit a gate, and then went around a left turn, blue gate, and the skis just went out from under her, went down on her left hip, bounced right back up. She's fine, annoyed. She's kind of like frustrated with herself, unfortunate. But that means Nina O'Brien has now moved up 4 spots already after just 6 racers. So 6 people down, 2 DNFs here in the second. Cerruti, the first one down here, and Buchik-Yogan from Slovenia, the second DNF here. So, yeah, we are on our way. Nina O'Brien still in first after the first 6 racers. Next up is Zrinka Lutic, and she had 4,700s, so only 100 faster than Buchik-Yogan, and she's down, lost a 10th at the first intermediate time. I can see her now on the screen as she's going down. I mean, the conditions look really, really good. It seems like it's a pretty fast course. Smooth, again, lots of waves and bumps. I always liked giant slalom a lot just because of the fluidness. It's really beautiful to watch. It's not that hyper aggressiveness of slalom, which we're going to see tomorrow and Wednesday with the men and the women in the slalom here. And yeah, Zrinka Lutic holding her advantage. She's only lost a 10th as she goes through the third intermediate time check, and we look like we might have a new leader, and she comes across the finish in first place. Lost just a little bit more, another 700s, but still maintains a 0.3 of a second advantage over Nina O'Brien at the finish. Zrinka Lutic of Croatia in first now after 7 racers have gone down. Smooth, really nice race there from her. She kept it really tight, really on par with Nina O'Brien. You can see in the run 2 column down in that timing table at the bottom, Nina O'Brien still has the fastest run in run 2, 1700ths ahead of Zrinka Lutic. So Lutic just never lost a lot. She lost a little here, a little there, and was able to keep her advantage. All right, Vanessa Kasper on course from Switzerland. She had the same time as Zrinka Lutic, and she has lost a ton of time in the second sector, 0.8. She's lost a total of 0.8 now already. I'm going to see if she had some kind of mishap there, but she's on her way to intermediate time 3. I'm looking over here at the feed, which is about 20 seconds delayed. She gained back just a little bit, but still close to 0.8 down. Vanessa Kasper of Switzerland. Yeah, hitting the brakes pretty hard over one of those rolling bumps into one of the curves. And that's probably what took the speed out, because then there's a bit of a flat section after that. And she's through in 2:15.82. Again, 0.8 back, kept that time. So she'll actually slot into 4th, which means that Nina O'Brien has now made up 5 places and remains in 2nd behind Zrinka Lutic. 3rd is Hanna Aronson Elfman of Sweden, 3,400s back. So 2nd and 3rd only 400s apart. And then there's a big half-second gap to Kasper, Pilar, and Sylvester Dabik. All right, next up is going to be Asia Zenere. She's on course. She had 0.2 of a lead on Lutic, has lost 500s of that already, or 6 100s, I should say, and she makes her way down to the 2nd intermediate time. Home fans of it in Italy here in Cortina really cheering her on. She had a bit of a rough bit there at the end of the first sector, lost some time, and you can see now she's lost full 0.2 by the 2nd intermediate time. So she's heading down to that final check, sector 3, the 3rd intermediate time, and we'll get a sense. Oh, she's made up some time. She's now 0.2 up. This is looking good for Asia Zenere of Italy. And will she still get first? 2/10 up. She is across in, or is she? Wow, big delay here. Yes, she's across. 38 hundredths ahead. So she's now clearly in first, ahead of Zrinka Lutic by a full 38 hundredths of a second. That's great. Nina O'Brien down to third. And we are going to be looking now at Britt Richardson of Canada, who had 16 hundredths of a second of an advantage on Asia Zenere of Italy. So she's on her way, has started. We're going to get her first split time any second now. And there she is. She's lost 65 hundredths in just the first section. So not enough aggression from Britt Richardson of Canada in that first section going down. See if that compounds itself as we come through the second intermediate time here. Oh yeah, she's lost a whole half second more and is now 1.04 seconds behind. So she is not even going to make the top 5. There's going to be just no way to make up that much time. There are already 4 people within 7/10. Losing time again, not as much through the third intermediate time check, down 1:23 at this point. And this is looking like possibly the slowest run so far in the second run of this giant slalom here in Cortina at the Winter Olympics. And she's through 2 seconds back. She lost another 8/10. I'm looking for something that happened here. Oh, yeah, she touched the snow, went down a little bit on her left side. And then the same thing with there's a gate about 1:10 in, maybe only 7 or 8 seconds from the finish line, where they're coming around a right turn and they get lifted up again. And they get lifted up and have to still try to keep turning to make a very tight next blue gate. So yeah, a couple of times she just really struggled, just getting lifted off, missed the timing on these waves, and that's going to cost her. So yep, she is all the way down, lost 7 places with the 8th worst time of the second run, by more than a second over anybody else. Nina O'Brien now moving up to 7 places. Still Zenere, Lutic, and O'Brien on the podium right now. But now we have Stefanie Brunner of Austria, and she's out. And I'm watching it here. I see the DNF pop up. I look over, and only about 6 or 7 gates in, and she is out. So that's going to mess up the Austrians' day. I think they already were really struggling with the fact that Julia Scheib, the dominant giant slalom women's racer of the year so far, all the way down in 11th. And that's our 3rd DNF now of the day. Stefanie Brunner out. Next is Doriana Escane of France. Let's see. Just insist on working to push the skis through the turns. In other words, they're telling her to be aggressive. The French team radio, and she is on course. Let's get up here and see that time. How much did she have? She had 3/10 up on Zenere, lost 8 hundredths at the first intermediate time, and she's on her way. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. Don't forget, join the chat. Be good to talk to you all about what you think of the race, what you thought of yesterday's race, what you think of Federica Brignone's chance to win 2 golds at this these Olympics in her home country after coming back from such a bad injury last year. Doriana Escane losing time, lost half a second between the Sector 1 and Sector 2 time checks, and she's going in the wrong direction. She still has a chance at 3rd. She's kept it steady now in through the 3rd intermediate time, and I think she even still has a chance at 2nd. So far, she's going to come across the finish line now in, ooh, she lost a lot at the end there. Wow, a whole half second in the final segment from the 3rd intermediate time down to the finish, losing half a second, and that will put her in 5th. So we still have Asia Zenere of Italy in 1st, Zrinka Lutic of Croatia in second, almost 4/10 back, and Nina O'Brien of the US in third, almost 7/10 back, and she's moved up 8 spots. So yeah, you always get to see this when we start with these 30 racers back down to the first racer. The conditions are so good for these people that people who are really aggressive after a poor first run will be rewarded. They will be rewarded for aggressive skiing. And on her way now is Kaisi Vikhoff-Lee. I think she was 5th the other day in the Super G. Great all-round racer, downhill, Super G, giant slalom. And she's on her way and lost a lot of time after the first time check. Went from 4800s up to 1800s up, and she has now DNF'd. So we're starting to have a bit of a problem with the DNFs again. We have 9 people through, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 DNFs, so almost a third. And yeah, she was not even 15 seconds. No, she was actually into sector 3, but she was losing time, a lot of time. She was really quite slow today, losing 3/10 in the first sector, almost 4 in the second sector. Emma Eicher of Germany is next, and she is already on course. Let's take a look at that. Okay, having a little bit of trouble with the scrolling window. There we go. Emma Eicher, 6500s up, and she's lost 4.5/10, 45/100s in just the first sector. And I'm trying to look and see why. Just getting a little off, you know, the race line and having to brake again with the waves and the tight curves after too much braking, and it's not looking good. She's now lost another 4/10, and she's 2100s back. She keeps losing like this. She might not even make the top 3. Emma Eicher coming to the third intermediate time now, 66/100s back. She can only lose 2 more 100s or she will fall behind Nina O'Brien. And here we go. She should be through. It's only about another 17 seconds to the finish from that third intermediate time. And Emma Eicher is across in third. She was able to make back 1600s in the final sector from sector 3 to the finish, and she will slot herself in third place. All right, third place for Emma Eicher. Asia Zenere of Italy has moved up 5 places and remains in first. Zrinka Lutic of Croatia remains in second, also moved up 5 spots. Emma Eicher has lost 2, but she is in third. And Nina O'Brien moved up 9 spots so far, but she is now down in fourth. Nina Astner of Austria, now on course, had a 66/100ths of a second lead, has lost 1900ths of that in the first sector. Not too bad. She can't afford to lose that every sector or she will also fall back. And she's lost half a second. What a race from Asia Zenere of Italy in the second run here. Just blowing people away. Nina Astner lost a half a second in sector 2. And now she's coming up to sector 3. That's about 19 seconds further down. She's lost another 1600ths. Still has a chance for second if she doesn't lose any more time. But we know there's that final little wave with a rolling right turn after it at the end. And she's going to come through the finish line in 2:15:08. 4500s back. She lost another 2700ths, but she will finish in third for now. All right, so that knocks Emma Eicher down to fourth, Nina O'Brien down to fifth, and Asia Zenere still in first. As we've gone through 11, 15, the first 15, and she's already up 6 spots. All right, so Zenere in first, Lutic in second, Nina Astner of Austria in third, Emma Eicher in fourth, and Nina O'Brien of the US in fifth right now. On course now, we've gone through 15, so we're going to be at our first TV break. If you look up at the scrolling marquee at the top of the screen, you will see that they usually will indicate that this is a TV break. There it is, moving across the screen from right to left. Asia Zenere in first by 38 hundredths, a fairly big lead at this point. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Great to see you here. It's been so much fun doing all these live streams. We started with Kitzbühel the weekend with those three, then moved over to Crans-Montana for 3 races there, getting ourselves ready for the Olympics to do all of the alpine skiing events. And we have done them all except, I think with the one exception of the women's team combined wasn't home for that day. So great to see everybody here. We've had some really great races like Kitzbühel downhill. We had 2,500 people watching during the live stream. That was pretty cool for me. See all of you there. We've had family members of ski racers. So Matilda Schwanke of Chile, her brothers were on the chat with us during the live stream, talking about their sister. That was a lot of fun. We had almost 2,000, no, I think it was 3,000 for the men's downhill, 2,000 for the women's downhill, and so on and so on. And then, of course, right after the big crash with Lindsey Vonn a week ago Sunday in the downhill, I put out a short about that crash that got over a million views. First time that's ever happened to me. So that was also a pretty interesting experience to see that level of engagement. And what was super interesting about that, you know how YouTube operates with search and they operate with short feed, right? So people all have their shorts feed, all that stuff. When you death scroll, just one after another, seeing, you know, short after short after short. I didn't get my traffic from the scrolling, from the shorts feed. 95% of those million plus, it's now almost 1.1 million. It's still going, not as much as that first day, but it's still going. 95% came from YouTube search traffic. So pretty impressive to see that almost 950,000 people were searching for information on YouTube for Lindsey Vonn's crash. All right, we have a new leader. Back from the TV break, Lara Della Mea of Italy in first, and she has maintained, what did she have? Yeah, she had a 71 100ths of a second lead over Asia Zenere after the first run, was able to keep that, some of that, and finishes in first, 46 hundredths ahead. So Italy 1-2. Italy 1-2 right now. I know that's going to change, but for the home crowd, this is pretty awesome stuff early on in the race. That's racer number 16 now, has gone down. We have 14 more as we go through the people in contention, and it's going to get interesting in a second here, because we have Marina Gazinica Daniel of Poland, but then we have three superstars in a row. Camille Rast of Switzerland, Julia Scheib, the World Cup leader with 4 victories this year, and then Alice Robinson of New Zealand right after that. But right now, actually, we have Paula Maltzahn of the US on course, and she had 3 100ths of a lead ahead of Lara Della Mea of Italy after the first run, and she's gained half a second in just that first sector. So Paula Maltzahn, we know she can be super aggressive, didn't have a great first run, and is going for broke here just to see how far she can move up. But she's lost a lot of time now. What on earth happened here in sector 2? Gonna watch here and see what happened. Right turn, left turn, go on the blue gate, red gate. I'm not seeing where she lost it, but she lost a lot of time, and she's through the finish 6/10 back. That's going to put her third. Knocks Rinka Lutic off the podium for now, but we still have our 2 Italians, our 2 hometown favorites. Yeah, there on the replay they show She got lifted out. She got dragged way off course, had to brake very, very hard between sectors 1 and 2. She lost 85 hundredths there. So now we get to see Michaela Schifrin at the top doing her visualization, getting herself ready. And now it's Marina Gazianica Daniel of Poland up, and she had only 3/100ths of a lead, and she's built that out to 2/10ths of a second lead over Lara Della Mea of Italy, but losing again a little bit. Her lead now only 5/100ths. Marina Gazianica Daniel coming into the third intermediate time check now in just a few seconds. Gonna see what happens here. Molzon had that problem just before her, and Gazianica Daniel also with some trouble there. 2/10ths lost, and she's now behind, still on track for second, but she has lost the lead, and we're going to see her come across the finish line now in 2:14. What are we going to get? 2:14.25. Second place, only 8/100ths off of the leading time of Lara Della Mea. Asia Zenere now relegated to third. Paula Molzon pushed down out of medal contention. Of course, we knew that, but you know, nice to be in the top 3, at least get to hang around at the finish line in that zone, the hot seat zone, where you see now Lara Della Mea sitting there. We can see her in her very traditional, the Italians like to stay very traditional with their light blue uniforms. That hasn't changed. I can remember back to the 80s with like Alberto Tomba, who won this giant slalom Olympics twice, you know. So all right, who's next? Camille Rast of Switzerland, and she is on course. She only had 5/100ths of a lead over Della Mea, but she's built that lead now out to 35/100ths. And yeah, she needs to go for broke, because being 12th after the first run when she was probably a medal contender, not a great look for her, but also losing time now. 4/10ths in the second sector. And again, it's these waves which cause them to miss the turn radius and end up braking really hard, throwing them off balance, and she's losing time, 46/100ths, and now another half second. So between sector 2 and sector 3, Camille Rast, when you lose that much time braking right before this flat section, you just don't have any speed left. And that speed is everything. Half a second, boom, gone right there. Camille Rast in third, across the finish line, pushing Asia Zenere off the podium for now, down into fourth, but it's still Lara Della Mea in first, 8/100ths ahead of Marina Gazianica Daniel of Poland, and now Camille Rast in third. And now we have to see what Julia Scheib is willing to do on this second run. You know, the absolute star of the World Cup season so far. She's got 6/100ths up on Lara Della Mea after the first run. And we're going to see what she can do here in the second run to be super, super aggressive. Julia Scheib on course. And yes, wow, almost 7/10ths. She made up 6,500ths, picked up 6,500ths just in the first sector. Super aggressive, really tight leaning. She is going for broke. Can she keep it up? That's the real question. She's got to be able to maintain that speed. She's gained another 700. She's now almost 8/10ths up on Della Mea. Looking hyper aggressive, amazing. She's really, you know, got the fire in her belly after screwing up that first run. Coming now into the third time, and she's lost 8/10ths. What happened? What on earth happened there? Unbelievable. I'm trying to follow it now, but somehow in 17 seconds she lost 8/10ths. Yup, again, just coming over that rolling hill into the turn and had to brake. No more speed left, and she ends up in second. She had it going. She had it going. She had picked up 8/10ths in the first sector. Julia Scheib big disappointment, may not even end up in the top 10 after being, yeah, and she does this, the wave, that rolling hill, and she's gone really fast. She's gone out of the finish area on her way. Just a terrible, terrible day. All that build up, all that hype, being the favorite to win the Olympics, and it just didn't work out for her. Team radio for Alice Robinson now. I can't see any chatter in the snow up top. So I think you can just attack. All right, Alice Robinson had 1/10 of a second up on Lara Della Mea. She's built that out to 44 100ths after sector 1. She's going to be moving now towards sector 2, lost 36 hundredths. So it seems like there is a penalty for being too aggressive in sector 2, just because the turning radiuses are such that if you come in too fast, you have to brake too hard, and then you don't carry the speed into the flats behind that. And we can see Alice Robinson now losing more time, almost a whole quarter of a second into sector 3. And she'll be coming across the finish line now in just a few seconds. Doesn't look like she's going to take the lead unless she has something special in the bottom here. Gonna have to make up 2/10. No, she only made up 5 100ths, and she is 4th. We now have 4 racers within 13 100ths of a second. Look at that. We've got Lara Della Mea, who's now moved up 5 spots. Julia Scheib still in second at this point. Marina Gazianitsa Daniel in 3rd. Alice Robinson in 4th, and all 4 of them are within 13 100ths of a second. All right. Are we back to a TV break? Is this our 22nd racer? Yeah. After bib 21, no, after the next one. So we have one more after bib 21, Mina First Holtman of Norway, who's on course now. Boom, the anger there. Wow. Alice Robinson just slamming her ski pole into the padding at the end of the finish area. So upset with herself to have a fairly lousy second run, only the 8th fastest second run. And we now have Mina First Holtman of Norway on course. She had 14 hundredths before the first, after the first run, picked up some time in sector 1, lost it all again in sector 2. So it seems like that hyper aggressiveness up top is great for the first section, but if you can't transition from that kind of aggressiveness to a little bit more controlled in the second sector, you're losing. She lost 3/10 there, and now she lost almost 6/10 in the third intermediate time, and she's through 7 100ths back in third. So surprisingly, Lara Della Mea has picked up 6 spots with only about 9 people left. The worst I think she can be is 15th, and you can see Holtman also got caught up on a gate on one of those waves, and a lot of frustration here. But Lara Della Mea remains in first, 2 100ths ahead of Julia Scheib, who's in second. Mina First Holtman in third, 7 hundredths back. Marina Gazianitsa Daniel, 8 hundredths back in 4th place, and Alice Robinson just 13 hundredths back in 5th place. All right, we do have that commercial break right now. Good time for you guys to jump onto the chat. Let's talk about the race. Good to see everybody here. Again, the schedule is that we'll be back for the men's slalom. I believe it's tomorrow, and the women's slalom, which I think is on Wednesday. So yeah, just a couple more events in alpine skiing for us here at the Olympics. I'm glad you can all join us. I think we've had over 25,000 people on the streams throughout the Olympics, so that's been really great to see. I really enjoy this. I watch every race anyway, so why not talk about it with all of you here in the live stream on YouTube. So thanks again for joining. We've got Valerie Grenier next up, still in the TV break. But we're going to come down here and take a look. So we've got 18 people in. We've got 4 DNFs. Cerruti Buchik Yogan, Stephanie Brunner, and Kaiservikov Lee, the 4 DNFs. So, all right, who's up next? Valerie Grenier, then Michaela Schifrin, all right, who was only 7th, and Thea Louise Stjernesund, who was 6th. Is that right? Am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Sarah Hector tied with her. Lara Kulturi tied with her. So we had those 3 racers tied after the first run. And then Sofia Goja is in 3rd currently. Lena Dürr of Germany in 2nd. And our leader after the first run was Federica Brignone, going for her 2nd gold in these Olympics after winning the Super G the other day in that crazy race where 40% of the people crashed out. All right, Valerie Grenier on course, 1600s ahead, but she's lost that advantage through the 2nd intermediate time. She's down 9 100ths behind. She keeps losing. Julia Scheib will be moving up into the top 10, maybe even the top 9 or 8. Valerie Grenier just not having a great 2nd run. She's now lost another 3/10, fully 4/10 back now, and coming to the finish line, it's going to be in the mid 214s. And here we go, Valerie Grenier across in 2:14.58, 4/10 back, all the way down in 7th. And our leader is still Lara Della Mea. She's made up 7 spots in this 2nd run. Pretty impressive stuff. And she's just 2 100ths ahead of Julia Scheib of Austria, who was only 11th after the first run. Julia Scheib, who's won 4 times this year in giant slalom on the World Cup circuit, came in as the overwhelming favorite, almost 100 points up in the World Cup standings. So disappointing for her, but here comes Michaela Schifrin. Yeah, and you can see Grenier got completely lifted off at the same spot all of them are doing. It's a right-hander with a wave, with a hill, where all of them are getting lifted off, and if you don't have the right angle going into that gate, you're going to get lifted off in a way that puts you offline and you can't make the next gate. And if you do, you have to brake so hard that you're not going to do well. Michaela Schifrin on course. On her way down, she had 1700ths of an advantage. Let's see, she hasn't been as unbelievably aggressive in giant slalom as she has been in slalom, but she's made up another 1700ths here. She's now 3400ths up on Della Mea. Let's see if she can keep doing it, and let's see how she handles that jump. Jump is not the right word, it's more of a bump. She struggled with that bump in sector 2. And yep, she lost 3,500s. You could see it. I mean, I got the lag here, but I'm seeing what she lost. I look over, and sure enough, she's getting lifted out and braking hard to make the next gate. So 1 100th back, and now 28 100ths back. She is going to fall back quite a ways here. Michaela Schifrin just not having returned to her pre-injury form from last year. I mean, last year she got hurt bad. She had something, I don't know what she had. It was either part of a ski pole or a gate, something stuck in. She had a puncture wound. And she's now in the finish line in 6th. Big disappointment for Michaela Schifrin. She's lost 5 spots, and she finishes 25 100ths back of Lara Della Mea, who continues to climb up the leaderboard. 8 spaces now, 8 places up. You can see the progression column here. 8 spaces up, and Julia Scheib, so disappointed after the first run, is still in 2nd. And if people are still going to underestimate these waves, these rolling waves that they've built into the course on turns, in the middle of turns, if they don't get those angles right as they come across, and it's the same thing here, too tight a line, and then you're just not in the right position, to make the next gate. Kisses to the crowd from Michaela Schifrin. You know, she's won everything. Kind of hard for her to ever feel too bad. I know she's competitive, but she's so mature now at 30 or 31. And now we have Thea-Louise Stjernesund, started with 4500ths of an advantage, and she's built that out to 6700ths at the first intermediate time check. But this is where we've seen everybody else have problems. So fast up top and then losing time, and she has lost 4/10, now only 2900ths ahead through the second intermediate time. Thea-Louise Stjernesund of Norway. She going to lose even more coming into the third intermediate time now in 1:57.26, and she's behind. She's 300ths back. That would only put her third right now because it's really tight at the top. And Thea-Louise Stjernesund in first. Wow, a strong finish. 800ths made up on that last thing, that last sector there. And we have a new leader. Finally, Lara de la Mea, I think, survived 8 straight racers who couldn't top her, but she gets pushed down to second, just 5 100ths back. Julia Scheib now in third, 7 100ths back. Mina Fürst-Holtmann, fourth, 1200ths back. Marina Gazinica-Daniel in fifth, 1300ths back. And Alice Robinson in sixth, 1800ths back. And some super excitement from Thea-Louise Stjernesund. She's not guaranteed a medal. She did run into the same problem as everybody else with those rolling hills and being on the right line, coming out of them to make the next gate. But she skied a super fast lower section. That last section made up just enough time to take the lead back from Lara de la Mea. All right, Sarah Hector is next, and she had no advantage. She was tied with Thea-Louise Stjernesund. So Scandinavians, just do your thing, Sarah, and enjoy. That's what the team radio is telling her, and we know she can be unbelievably aggressive. All right, through the first intermediate time, Sarah Hector made up 3 100ths. Nothing special, but she remains in the lead. But this is the section where everybody has lost time today between the first and second intermediate times. And we're going to see now, no, Sarah Hector, she got it right. She made up 3/10, and she's really pushing hard. Yeah, you see, she's so strong that she's just able to handle these waves and stay on track without getting lifted up out of it. And she's made up 3/10 there, pushing her advantage. But now she's lost 4,500ths. Oh my gosh, she is not even going to make the top 3 or 4 unless she does something spectacular down here at the bottom. But yeah, she lost so much time in that second, third section, and she's tied for first. We have a 2-way tie for the lead now. She made up those 1,300ths at the bottom, and she is now tied with Thea-Louise Stjernesund. And we only have, how many left? 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 4 left. 4 racers to go. We have 2 people tied for first still. Julia Scheib looking on, knowing that she can finish no worse than 8th now, which is still a disappointment. But we have 4 people left on top, and Lara Kulturi racing for Albania. I do believe that she was born in Italy. I'll look that up real quick because I think there was a story similar to Lucas Pinheiro Braaten went to a different country to race. Braaten, his mother was Brazilian, so yeah. So she is the daughter. Lara Couture is the daughter of former Olympic champion Daniele Ceccarelli and ski coach Alessandro Ceccarelli. All right, we're back to timing, and she is on course. And again, she was tied in 4th after the first run, and she's lost almost 3/10 in the first sector. And this is where most people were making up time, being really aggressive in this second run. So trying to see what happened here as I see her go down. Didn't look bad at all. Didn't see any slips. A little bit, about 12, 14 seconds in. And now she's lost a lot of time. She's all the way down in 11th, 7/10 back. So a really bad second section. This is going to be really disappointing for her. I think she's 5th or 6th in the Giant Slalom World Cup right now, coming down, made up 4/10 now, so still something, but the leaderboard is so tight. 3/10 back is going to get you 10th. Lara Cultori coming down to the finish in 2:14.82. She lost another 3/10 and is finished 7/10 off the pace in 13th place. Wow. All the way down behind Paula Molzon. So only the 22nd best time for Lara Cultori here in the second run. Julia Scheib in fourth, Lara Della Mea in third, and then we still have two people tied for the lead with 3 to go. Sarah Hector and Thea Louise Stjernesund tied for the lead. Who's next? It is Sofia Goggia, then Lena Dürr, and then Federica Brignone. Race interrupted. Why are we interrupted? I'm trying to see what happened. It's not a TV break. And the Albanian coaches, not happy. Just too bad. She went from T4 to 13th. Unfortunate. And we see the two women now. We see Thea Louise Stjernesund and Sarah Hector sitting on the hot seat together as they remain tied. Okay, the TV is showing next racer starts in 37 seconds, which means for me in about 15 seconds. And we'll see Sofia Goggia's name come up here. All right, to respect the direction of the bumps anyway, because they turn and then push it all the way. So again, everybody knows now it's the bumps and getting the direction right on the bumps. Like I've been saying all along, watching the footage, seeing people take bad lines, get lifted out, and then have to brake hard to make it. All right, Sofia Goggia had a 2800ths advantage. She's lost 300ths of that. Our two leaders, Hector and Stjernesund, are going to be watching really closely now, because this is it between the first and second intermediate times where all the time's been lost today. And yep, Sofia Goggia has lost 35 100ths. That puts her 10 hundredths back, which at this point would only be 5th. So we have to see what she can do. She's so strong. She's going to be such a strong finisher. The only question is she lost too much speed after that section there. But here she comes, 6 100ths back now. That's still only 4th. She's got to push it really, really hard now. Sofia Goggia coming to the line. It's going to be in the very low 214s. And she comes across in 8th. Oh my gosh, she has lost so much time. And this means that now Sarah Hector and Thea Louise Stjernesund are our first racers that are guaranteed a medal. They will be tied for 3rd, because all we have left is Lena Dürr and Federica Brignone. Julia Scheib's got to be scratching her head going, I'm 700ths back and I'm in 4th right now. And there are tears of joy. Stjernesund, tears of joy, knowing that she's getting a medal. And it doesn't matter to her that it's bronze, but her and Sarah Hector, at the worst, are tied for 3rd. We'll get bronze. We'll share a bronze medal on their combined time of 2:14.12. Just 5 100ths ahead of Lara Della Mea. We can't forget her. She's made up 10 spots. All right, the start interval is 2 minutes and 10 seconds, but here we go. Lena Dürr on course, heading down. She had 4 tenths up on Sarah Hector and Thea Louise Stjernesund. And we're going to see in a second here, as soon as she hits that first intermediate time, Lena Dürr of Germany comes through the first time, and she's already lost all of her advantage up top. It's all in the shade now. The whole top section is in the shade. Oh, she slipped and almost missed the gate completely. This is incredible. She is not looking great. She's lost another 2 tenths. She's lost almost 7 tenths now, coming through the second intermediate time, and that will put her way down in like 8th or 9th. Lena Dürr of Germany struggling so bad in that upper section, and it carried over, caused her to lose speed. She's made up time now. Oh my gosh. Sector 2 to Sector 3. She's in full like downhill position, just going for broke, made up half a second, and she's going to come across. We're going to see it any second now. It's, again, oh no, and now she lost another half second at the bottom. So just a roller coaster ride for Lena Dürr, losing time up top and now losing time again at the bottom. I'm going to see where, yep, that last bump again. Too much speed. She was treating it like a downhill after that mistake up top, and that puts her into 8th place, which means now Sarah Hector and Thea-Louise Stjernesund are tied for the lead still, and the worst they can be is second. Now, I don't know if they have a tie for second, if they still give out bronze. We're going to have to see how that works. Federica Brignone, our leader, with 0.7 of a second of a lead over Sarah Hector and Thea-Louise Stjernesund, is the last racer that will be able to contend today. And Julia Scheib of Austria still scratching her head, looking at things going, 700ths off. I'm 7/100ths off of a medal at this point. No, 2/100ths off of a medal. After botching the first run and after botching part of the second run, still the 5th fastest run in the second run. And Julia Scheib will go home empty. But here we go. Federica Brignone on course, lost only 1/100th at the first time check, gained a 10th. This is looking really, really solid. She's skiing it so well through the second sector, gained another 10th, now 0.8 up. And now we'll see, does she take her foot off the gas just a little bit to make sure on that last bump? No, she's still going. She gained another 0.12. Now almost a full second up. This is a dominant performance from Federica Brignone, and she will come across the finish line in 2:13.50, a new best time and a gold medal performance for Federica Brignone, one of the stars of this Olympics. We've got a couple of really amazing stars. And she did lose a little bit at the end. She did lose almost a 1/3 of a second, 34/100ths just in that final section. But the Italians are going crazy. And now the question is, how does this work? First place, a tie for second, and I think that means there's no bronze. Can that be? We're going to have to look that up real quick. Olympics, tie for second, no bronze? Yes, if 2 or more athletes tie for second place in the Olympics, they are both awarded silver medals and no bronze medal is given out. And that's a really rough thing for Lara Della Mea, because she is the 4th person, the 4th fastest time, and just 5/100ths back. But with that tie for second, there is no 3rd place. Yeah, Federica Brignone, I'm watching the replay here. She did have trouble with that final bump. She was staying aggressive. And she's through with the win, of course. So our 3 medalists today will be Federica Brignone of Italy, who takes the gold in 2:13.50. Dominant performance all around. Sarah Hector and Thea-Louise Stjernesund move up. I think they were tied after the first and tied after the second run. That's just incredible how that happened. Just unbelievable. Yeah. They were tied after the first run, tied after the second run, and they will take home joint silver. So a gold for Italy, Sarah Hector of Sweden and Thea-Louise Stjernesund of Norway will share silver, 2 silver medals. And then Lara Delamea made up 11 spots from 15th to 4th. Julia Scheib went from 11th to 5th. Mina First-Holtmann made up several spaces. Marina Gazinica Daniel of Poland made up 6 spots. Alice Robinson made up 2, but the big losers at the bottom in the second run today that lost the most time, that lost the most places, were Lena Dürr, who went from 2nd to 9th. Sofia Goja went from 3rd to 10th. And Michaela Schifrin went from 7th to 11th. So big disappointments for them. In the second run here, the fastest time still belongs to Asia Zenere of Italy, who moved up from 22nd to 14th. She had the fastest run in the second run of this giant slalom here in Cortina d'Ampezzo on the Tofane. Good for her. Great showing. 14th place. Sofia Goja in 10th. Lara Delamea moved from 15th to 4th with the 4th fastest time in the second run. And Julia Scheib with the 5th fastest time, even though she really blew, what was it? That first sector. She blew it. No, she didn't blow it in the first sector. It was at the end. She lost 1600s in sector 3, and those 1600s right now would have been the difference between 5th and 2nd. So yeah, a lot of head scratching going to be going on with some of these folks today. Julia Scheib, big disappointment after being the favorite coming in with 5th place. Lara Delamea in 4th is going to be super excited. Bib 12, 15th after the first run, 4th now in the finish line. And then the big disappointments are going to be down there. Alice Robinson in 8th. Lena Dürr in 9th, lost a lot of time, went from 2nd to 9th. Sofia Goja went from 3rd to 10th, and Michaela Schifrin 7th to 11th. A really, really tough race for the favorites, other than Federica Brignone, who just, after her win in the Super G the other day, has now also dominated the giant slalom, and just great to see her. Like we said, she was 3rd at the Olympics 8 years ago in Pyeongchang, got her bronze. Then 4 years ago in Beijing, she got her silver, and now at home in Italy in 2026, she has her gold medal. Let's look. She's 35 years old. She'll be 36 in the summer. I expect to see her come back next year. Remember, guys, we still have a big part of the season. We still have 3 or 4 races in every single discipline in the World Cup. So the World Cup is definitely not over. A lot of those decisions, those small crystal balls for the individual events, still to be decided in the last month or so of the season. All right, what else do we have here? Do we have any other things we're seeing? Yeah, we're still continuing with the racers. What's the interval now? The interval now is, because remember, we still got 31 people to go. All right, half the race is still in front of us, and we are seeing Lisa Hürhager of Austria with a DNF, and now we have Gwyneth Tenray of Luxembourg. What is our interval now? 45 seconds. We saw this yesterday in the men. Once they get past the winners, the medalists, they still have these 30 racers to go. And now it's going every 45 seconds, So we're just going to try to see if anybody at the end here can put up a time that will get them, to move up a bunch of places. Doesn't look good. Some of the intervals are really, really big. We see Gwyneth Tenray of Luxembourg, Noah Zolis for Israel. And the next, one of my favorite racers, Elvedina Muzaferia of Bosnia-Herzegovina. A couple years ago, she was turning in performances, getting fourths and fifths and sixths, I think, in downhills and super Gs. So we'll get to see her next. She was 3.6 seconds back after the first run. But really right now, it's like who can move in, move up a little bit. We're going to see if some of these folks can move past not just the 5 DNFs, but also move past some of the people who were ahead of them after the first run. All right, Elvedina Muzaferia on course. Going to watch her go down now, just because I really enjoy her as a racer. 360 behind after the first run. We're going to get to see her come into 490. She lost 1.3 there at the first time check. So yeah, the gaps are big. The gaps are really big here now after our top 30 have gone through. There's really no chance for anybody, and you can see her getting lifted off. Actually, I'm seeing Zolos race here. The lag has gotten a lot bigger now between the timing and the video feed. I'm seeing Zolos through, but now here on the time checks, I'm actually seeing Muzaferia already near the finish. So I think it's like 35 to 40 seconds of a differential right now. And she's through, yeah, 7 seconds back. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if anybody can have a decent run here in the second run of these people. I think there are quite a lot of ruts in the course now, and also these bumps are just something that if the really top racers are struggling with, I can only imagine how hard it is for some of these people. Let's go down to the bottom and see what kind of countries we have represented here. We've got, starting at the bottom, we've got Yuying Zhang of China, Maria Eleni Suvlo of Greece, we've got Tallulah Prux of Philippines, we've got Esma Alitz of Bosnia-Herzegovina, Annabel Zurbe of Ireland, Sofia Maria Moldovan of Romania, Nino Tsiklauri of Georgia, Mialitiana Klerk of Madagascar, Sonia Lee Christensdotter of Iceland, Lara Markthaler of South Africa, Samira Doughty of Albania, Emma Gatcliffe of Trinidad and Tobago, Ellen van Pelt of Iceland, Vanina Gierlo, we saw her brother, I think, yesterday in the men's giant slalom from Portugal, Korean racer Sohul Kim, Elena Lavastova, we've seen her in these Olympics from Czechia, Anastasia Shepilenko, we've seen, of course, from the Ukraine. So good to see some of these folks from underrepresented countries in skiing, still in for the second run. And then Alexandra Skorohodova of Kazakhstan, Zita Toth of Hungary, Piera Hudson for the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and Nika Tomzic of Slovenia. Started already, we have Phoebe Hayden of Australia and Katarina Sinigoy of Slovenia. So that covers everybody. Good to mention everyone. They're all trying their best. They're doing their having their Olympic moment and their Olympic story, something they'll be able to tell their kids and grandkids about when they got to compete on this beautiful day in Cortina. Brilliant bright sunshine with the backdrop of the Tofana, this massive Dolomite mountain behind the course. Gotta love it. I've been there in the winter. It's phenomenal. I've been there in the summer for hiking, just as phenomenal. A lot of people will know that area because of the three chimneys, the Tre Cime de Lavaredo, which are these three granite pinnacles that go up very thick, and they're really got made famous. They were always famous for Europeans, for hikers and mountain climbers, but they became really famous with the movie Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone. I think that was in the early 90s or mid 90s, where the movie opens with a scene taken there. I will not spoil it for you, but definitely an exciting movie, a good action flick. and it takes place, or it's meant to take place on those mountains, or it's filmed on those mountains. So great stuff. All right, I think I'm going to call it for today. Once again, we have our medalists a little different today because we had a tie for second. So what do we have? We have Federica Brignone taking the gold medal, her second one. That goes with Franjo van Almen's 3 gold medals, a real star now. We've got an American guy. What was his name again? U.S. I just watched him win his second gold last night. Jordan Stoltz. He's got 2 gold medals already, and there are a couple other great stories there. But yeah, Federica Brignone coming back from her injury from last year, taking 2 golds in her home Olympics in Italy, in Cortina. The other day, Super G, and today dominating the giant slalom start to finish. Sarah Hector and Thea Louise Stjernesund have done something probably not done before. Exact same time in the first run, exact same time in the second run, and they tie for second, and they will both get silver, and there will be no bronze. And that means that Lara de la Mea, who had the 4th fastest time, moved up 11 spaces from 15th to 4th, gets shut out of the medals because of that tie. And then Julia Scheib, the absolute favorite going in, made up a bunch of spaces in places in the second run from 11th to 5th, but also will go home empty. Mina First Holtman of Norway, 6th. Marina Gazinica Daniel of Poland, 7th. And then our 4 really disappointed people from 8th to 11th. That would be Alice Robinson of New Zealand, Lena Dürr of Germany, who went from 2nd to 9th. Sofia Goja at home at her Olympics, big disappointment, goes from 3rd to 10th. And Michaela Schifrin, who hasn't had the best giant slalom year, she's only 4th in the standings in the Giant Slalom World Cup. She goes from 7th to 11th. Camille Rast was 12th after the first run, 12th after the second run. Very few people had the same position. I'm only counting 3 of the top 30 who had the same position after the first run and then after the second run. Federica Brignone winning was 1st and stayed 1st. Camille Rast was 12th and stayed 12th. And Vanessa Casper of Switzerland down in 23rd. 23rd after the first and 23rd after the second. All right, guys, we're going to call it. Thanks so much for joining us today. We will see you tomorrow for the second run of the men's slalom from Bormio. Until then, take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.